Good evening, and thank you all for coming to tonight's lecture. We have a very interesting, quite rare piece of lecture because it's on Angkorian music and musical instruments from the 13th to the 17th century or something like that, yeah, thereabouts. Anyway, and I'm very happy to introduce you to the speaker. This is Mr. Patrick Kersalé. He's a French ethnomusicologist and a music archaeologist as well. He will explain the difference to you afterwards. He has spent the past 30 years traveling around the world, primarily in West Africa, South Asia, India, Nepal, and Europe. And that was for the purpose of seeking out and to do research on traditional music in order those music and the instruments that are fast disappearing, actually. So he's trying to conserve these and also to do research on that, to preserve the memory and also to develop programs on those instruments. Now, since 2009, he has been studying the musical instruments from the Angkorian period through iconography, inscriptions, and archaeological objects. Based on that research, he has rebuilt extinct instruments from the 7th to the 16th century. And this resulted in the project Sounds of Angkor, dedicated to Angkorian and Khmer music and dance. Now, I would like to, at this moment, share a message by Her Royal Highness Princess Bhupadevi, director of the Ballet Royal in Cambodia, because she said it much better than I can. So I'll quote, Through the exhibition of Sounds of Angkor, Patrick Kersalé allows us to better understand the Khmer music of ancient times, its symbolism, and its use by a population whose lifestyles are gradually revealed to the public. Through a method of photographic analysis of Angkorian bas-reliefs, Mr. Kersalé analyzed the origin and function of ancient Khmer musical instruments in a precise manner. This enables him to highlight the details that were invisible to the naked eye. Thus, he makes us discover unpublished information, answering many questions, filling wide gaps, and setting aside some preconceived ideas. The scientific approach of Mr. Patrick Kersalé does not end there, since his experimentation has been taken further to the reconstruction of several of those instruments, which he sort of resurrected and rebuilt. He has offered our young artisans, musicians, and composers the possibility to reclaim a musical heritage that is an integral part of the historical and cultural diversity of Cambodia. Then Princess Bhupadevi expressed her warmest congratulations to Patrick Kersalé for his unique contribution to Khmer studies and for his dedication to a passion that he knows how to communicate eloquently. So, unquote. Now, please join me to welcome Mr. Patrick Kersalé.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very, very, very happy to be here. I was here a few months ago to accompany my friend Jacques de Guerny, who gave a talk about the bronze drums. And I would like to speak to you today about my passion, because passion is energy. When we have passion, we don't need any money to do our project. So I will speak especially about the musical instrument during Angkor period, so Pre-Angkorian, so from the 7th century, because in the 7th century we have the first iconography, until the 13th century, because that's the end of the iconography for Angkor period, but I will push a little more until the 16th century, because in the Angkor Wat temple we have some bas-reliefs and painting, because there is one king who came back after the sack of Angkor. So he came back and he finished some bas-reliefs. So it's why we will speak about these topics. And we will speak also about the popular musical instrument from the time, but the question is the next. In the temple of Khmer, we have only the music for war, for ceremonies, Buddhist and Hindu. We have the music for the court, but we don't know anything about the musical instrument from the popular people. So, but if it is not why we have no the sample or we have not the instrument, we don't know anything. So I will develop this point just after. So before starting about the Pre-Angkorian period, I would like to come back to start about what I can call prehistory. We don't know anything about the prehistoric instrument, but the question is when starts really the history. The history starts when we have the writing, but the writing, the first writing we have is around the 6th century in Cambodia. Before we have nothing. So, but I don't consider the prehistory is until the 6th century. But we have found for the long time, but we cannot date 2 stones which are now at the National Museum in Phnom Penh. And these 2 stones are really amazing. The sound is absolutely amazing. So I recorded for you these 2 stones for the first time. So now you can listen a sound maybe for 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. So unfortunately, the second stone is broken. It has been stuck, but the sound is not so good, but the first one is absolutely amazing. So now we pass the time and we go to the Bronze Age. And we will speak at the time of the Bronze Age, we have very few information. We have some bells for animals, some bells for cows, buffaloes, and we have found also the bronze drums, but the bronze drum from Cambodia, they are never been made in Cambodia, made in Vietnam, because we call the Dong Son time, so around 2,500 years ago until 500 years after Christus, 500 years after Christus. So we have not so many bronze drums because the archaeological excavation are very rare in Cambodia, but the wild excavation, there are a lot, and I think we have found a lot of bronze drums from the Bronze Age, but all they went to the black market. So the first bronze drum we can see here has been found in the south of Cambodia. We have one, and so because the question to me is what instrument has totally disappeared and what instrument we keep until now. And we are here during the funeral of King Bhumibol, and we can see in Thailand the bronze drum playing until now, but these bronze drums are not from Vietnam. These bronze drums are from Myanmar. They were built by the Karenni people and bought by Thailand and keep at the royal palace and in the rich family also in old Thailand. But sorry, here during the funeral we cannot listen the bronze drum because there are the other instrument. But we can see that's really amazing pictures. So that video has been taken to the Karenni people in south of Myanmar. So that's a rare occasion to listen to the bronze drum. It's very rare. So we have in the royal palace in Cambodia there are 2 bronze drums, but unfortunately they are broken, and now nobody play even during the ceremonies for the rain, because before we play the bronze drum to cool the rain or to stop the rain. So now I will present to you some, I don't know some, but all the iconography from Pre-Angkorian. This iconography comes from the temple of Sambor Prekuk. Sambor Prekuk is in the middle of Cambodia, and now this temple is preserved by UNESCO for 2018. But this bas-relief, if you go to Sambor Prekuk, you will not see it. If you want to see that lintel, you have to go to the National Museum in Phnom Penh. So it's not easy when we don't know the musical instrument to read this bas-relief. It's why my technique is to put in color like this with some red cloves, rose cloves, pink cloves, and so that's just a code, you know. This morning I received a mail from one of my friends. He asked to me when I will go to the temple to paint all the bas-relief. So it's very funny. So on the left side we can see the most ancient instrument in Cambodia is a zither. We call Saideu. But this instrument you have until now in Thailand also. That's really a miracle, because this instrument, the sound is very, very small. So we cannot listen from far. But until now, the keep probably because this instrument accompanies the sound, the singing at home in the countryside. We have here a second instrument. There are the cymbals we call chieng in Cambodia, and this instrument represents the music. All the orchestra, even they are from the court or for military, we have cymbals, small or big cymbals. Here we have one drum, totally disappeared in Cambodia. It's called timila. Is an instrument coming from India. But I have to tell you, all the instruments on the bas-relief from Pre-Angkorian or Angkorian period, 90% of the instruments, they come from India. Because in the 1st century, Hindu people come in Cambodia, and they bring, you know, they bring the ID, the beliefs of Hindu, but they bring their own tools for ceremonies, but also for music. And here, for the first time, we have the harp. We call arch harp. It is here. So, but for you, maybe it's not easy to identify the instrument. It's why I made a second step for you. Because I rebuilt or found the instrument, so we can see directly the true instrument in the stone. So, for example, I rebuilt this one from A to Z because totally disappeared. But what I say, I don't make a rebuilding, but a proposal of rebuilding, to be very humble, because we don't know exactly about every detail. But after rebuilding this one, I have found some month ago a bas-relief from India, from the 5th century, is exactly the same, this one. So maybe my mistake is only 5 or 10%. So this bas-relief is really one of the oldest one in Cambodia. So there is a second one. The first one was a Shiva dance. So we can see Shiva in the center here. And the style is really Indian style from the 5th century, like a Gupta style. And here also, there is pink. Here we have a cymbal player, maybe a little different with a handle here. We have here the same drum, and we know that this drum, because the drum go under the arm, and the technique of playing is you press the link, and by pressing the link, you change the tone of the drum. So that's the kind of drum in Africa we call talking drum. And I think this instrument was used also during in war music. Maybe it was able to talk to the soldiers, go right, go left, go down, etc., etc. And here we have a second harp. And you can see here the true instrument. And on the left side, we have here a flute. Now it's broken, but when we discovered this relief, it was not broken. And the last one is this one. It's also from Sambor Precook, but we have one flute, two flute, the drum stimula, the cymbals, and we have here a new drum, is a barrel drum, and in the middle here I cut the bas-relief because the screen is not enough long, and is a coronation of a king, so is maybe a music for a coronation. So you are very lucky because you have seen all the iconography from the Pre-Angkorian period in Cambodia, only 3. So now we will speak about the Pre-Angkorian epigraphy. So what is epigraphy? Epigraphy is a writing in the stone. So in the 9th century, we have some information about the instrument. We have the name of the instrument. In some temple, like in Bakong and also in Lolei, and the epigraphy is written in all Khmer, because in Cambodia we have two, at this time we have two kinds of writing. We have the Sanskrit and we have the Old Khmer. So Sanskrit speak about the musical instrument, but it's only poetry. But this writing is in Old Khmer and is like a notation of what the people offered to the temple. So when we build a temple, we write this on the wall of the doors. And we have the name. That's absolutely amazing because we have the name of the musician, of the dancers, of the female dancers and the female singers and the female musician. And we know the name of the instrument. We know the name of the harp, the name of the monochord, the name of the lute, the name of... so we have all the names. And we know what it was the most important, because at this time, that is very important to know, there is a hierarchy of the goods and of the people. More it's important is made of gold at the beginning, after in silver, after is by bronze, after by wood, etc., etc. And for the people, it is the same. The most important, they are the dancers, because the dancers communicate directly with the gods. And after, there are the singers, because the singers, they sing about the text of the god. And after, there are the musicians. So we have a percussionist, we have the cymbals, is why the cymbal is very important. And after that, we have the monochord. And after, the harp. And after, the lute. And after, other singers. So we know exactly what was the most important in the temple. And my work has been had to link the musical instrument, physical, and the epigraphy, the name of. I was not the first to do that job, but some instrument, it was impossible to know what kind of instrument, but I have found some. Not all, but I am on the way. So now we will speak about the Angkorian iconography from Angkor Wat. So Angkor Wat is the beginning of the 12th century. So at the same time, we built Notre Dame de Paris. But it burned, but Angkor Wat cannot burn because only stone. So, safe. So in Angkor Wat, we have only war music and Hindu ceremony musical instrument. For the court of music court, we have nothing. We have only one harp. I spent 19 years to find it. Because, have you seen Angkor Wat is very, 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 very big. So, but the harp is big like this. So I spent 19 years to find, going back. So, but I have found, because I wrote all the books, I watched all the photography, but nobody has taken this picture. And I didn't want to accept there is no harp in Angkor Wat, but it came to me. To be sure, I don't make myself. No? So nice picture from this temple. So I changed the color of the clothes here. Not pink for the soldiers. So on this picture, this orchestra, war orchestra, is really one of the most amazing we can find in Cambodia. So we have here one instrument. If you go to the literature, all the researchers, they say it's a gong, but at this time there is no gong. Maybe there is gong, but not in the iconography. This is a drum. And we know that this is a drum because there is only 1 point to carry. For a gong, you have 2 points to carry a gong. If you carry the gong with only 1 point, it turns like this. Second, if you watch at the drummer, is like this. So he has 2 sticks of wood, or maybe wood or bamboo is the root of the bamboo. And if you beat with very strong a gong, you break it. So that's really absolutely a drum. And here you have a big trumpet. That's the only one we can be sure it's made by metal, probably by bronze or copper. Here you have 1 and 2 small trumpet, because all the instruments are going by 2. Until now, when you have the pipette, all the instruments by 2. And if you have only 1, like the barrel drum, you have only 1, but you have 2. You have 2 sides, and 1 side is female, 1 side is male. Now we say the instrument is small and big, but I think a long time ago, is female and male. Because in Cambodia, the most important is the couple. And inside the couple, what is the most important? The female. Why a female? Because when the baby born, we are sure that the baby is the mother, but the father, not sure, right? But there is a big advantage of this point, because you know how to make the relation between the sexual act and the born of the baby. Just by the science, we can know that point. And I am sure maybe 90% all the society at the beginning, they are from in matrilinear society, because we know where is the baby coming from. And in Cambodia, we keep this until now. So, and after we have here the drum, the Timila drum, with something very interesting, is the Naga here. We can see here the head of the Naga, the body of the Naga, and here the tail of the Naga. And we have two, second one here. Like when you go, have you been in Cambodia, in the temple? Everybody? So when you bring the causeway, you know, on the right, on the left, you have the Naga who protect you. And the musician here is protected by the Naga. And here you have a small drum here, and we have conches here we call sank or shank, and we have dancer here. Before there is 1, 2, and 3, 4 more, but been destroyed by Kalashnikov here. I don't know. That's the only part. That's the only part had been destroyed by a weapon in Cambodia. I don't know why, but maybe because the two people there are little feminine in the movement, so maybe the soldier don't like that, and so. But it was the most amazing bas-relief here, but now disappeared. We have only one picture taken by FAO. So now we can see the instrument rebuilt. So for example, so I am not sure 100% about this conch and the decoration here. Not sure 100% about this, but maybe 70%, probably 100% about the material. Yeah? All this trumpet I rebuilt in Nepal. Why in Nepal? Because in Cambodia nobody knows how to make a trumpet, but in Nepal, in Newar, the Newari people, they built the trumpet for the Tibetan Buddhists for 800 years ago. So they have big experience, so not too long to talk about. So that's for the musical instrument. And here we have the musical instrument of the Brahmin. So we can recognize the Brahmin with the ponytail here. And they have 2 Vajra bells and 2 bell trees. So bell trees, there are 5 bells made by bronze. And we are sure about this instrument because we have found a lot of this kind of bells in the excavation, wild and official excavation. And 90% of this instrument have 5 bells. And here I rebuilt this one with true one found in excavation. We have, it exists 2 kinds of bells. Bells like more square here and bells more round. So we have 2 kinds. But now it totally disappeared. But I rebuilt to play on. So now we continue with Angkorian, but with the 2 temples, the Bayon and Bantechmar. These 2 temples have been built by Jayavarman VII, and the same king who built a lot of temples in Thailand also. But in Thailand we have no musical iconography, unfortunately. But I think in Cambodia, the king wanted to let for the next generation the life of the time of his time. So the daily life and also the court life and also the military life. So we are here in the Bayonne with the head. So many people say that's a Buddha, but probably that could be the king himself. So here this bas-relief is very, very important because here we can see the king with his two spouses, Jayaraja Devi and Indra Devi. And here we have the musician with dancers, with a singer, we will see more, the people invited by the king, and here we have the military. And here we have the Apsara. Here, the Apsara, the true Apsara, the name Apsara, they are the dancer in the sky, but not the dancer on the lotus flower, you know, is the same level like us, you know. This is the Apsara under the king, to protect the king and to welcome the people die in the battlefield. So what we can see here, we can see the harp. In Angkor period, we can see here with a foot, you know, to stabilize the instrument. We can see the same foot on the musical instrument on the harp of the Karenni people in Myanmar and also in Thailand. And we can see here, just because it's a little damage, but there is a peg to tune the strings. We have two systems. We have seen the first system I rebuilt with collars made by silk or other materials, and we have peg also. And we have here a singer. We recognize the singer. Why? Because the singer has a ponytail, no crown. The crown is for the musician. Ponytail is for the singers. And here, you see the index here. When somebody sing or talk, is represented like this. Every time. If the king is singing, no, the king doesn't sing. He's talking, he's doing like this. Yeah? And we are here, the dancer with the same crown, the musician. So that is the court music, the court instrument. And the court instrument, they are string instrument. Here we have a full orchestra, so I can say full orchestra. It depends the area, the place they have in the bas-relief on the wall. Here we have two harps, 1, 2 with the foot here. Here we have the zither with two resonators, one on the chest, one here below. Here we have the cymbals. And we have the singers here with the ponytail and the mouth open and the index here. And the second singer is here playing the cymbals. And we have also one instrument here. The people say in Cambodia, because in Cambodia people are very proud, like everywhere, and they say that the Khmer. Khmer is a South Samsai. South Samsai, thank you, sir. South Samsai, but South Samsai at this time, no South Samsai. South Samsai arrived later. So this instrument we find in 5th century in India. So it's maybe a crab, you know, to accompany. I am not sure 100%, but I have not another explanation. So we have string instrument for the court, but we have also for entertainment. Here we can see the king. And curiously, in Bayonne and in Angkor Wat, some pictures are not finished, but they are the picture of the king. Why? Probably because the king is made by only one maker. And if the maker is not available or die or sick, he never come to finish the king. So this picture is not finished. But here we have the musician. That's a battle of boat here on the Tonle Sap. And I love so much this picture. I love so much that picture. Why? Because that's very curious. It's very funny. You know, we can see every musician and dancer, they are smiling. But we don't know why they are smiling. But because maybe this one is make like this. Yeah? That's not the only one. But usually, this one is maybe a singer singing like this. But he puts the finger on the foot here. And second, this guy here, he has two right hands, not a left one and the right one, but two right hand. And here, our player, the arm come here, not behind the string. And here, normally the arm of the player has to come like this, not like this. So there is only mistake. And this one, the singer here, we can see the teeth. That's the only one, all the Khmer, we can see the teeth in normal bas-relief. So in the 12th century, you know, in Europe, the same. When, for example, somebody order to carve in the church and not pay enough or is not kind, so they make a mistake like this. Or they represent the owner somewhere in the dark place there. Nobody can see. So I'm thinking the guy who make this bas-relief, he was a joker. So we can see here also in Bayonne an orchestra during a procession. So all the orchestra we have seen before, they are sit, but here they stand and they are walking. But because there is a procession, it's very noisy because a lot of people, the king is going to war. And here we can see the two, this player with the head like this, because too many noise, and he want to listen his own music. So it's very difficult because only one string and very, very small sound. So, and here the crab we spoke about. And this bas-relief probably from the beginning of 13th century, because differently than Angkor Wat has been built, you know, during 30 years and after finished. The Bayonne temple has been different steps of building, and this bas-relief is in the north part of the temple, and usually the north part is carved at the end. We start in the west or in the east for Bayonne, in east, south, and after the other part they are made later, and usually the bas-relief is not so nice like in the east and south. And here we have two orchestra, and for the first time we can see a harp with the bird head. The Garuda. Garuda is a vehicle of Vishnu. And here we can see people fighting, for playing of course, fighting with swords here. We have a circus here, funambule, and acrobat here. And what is interesting here, I will show you. I spent a lot of time to understand what happened, but now I think I am sure 100%. We know in Southeast Asia, we have juiced by talking, so is fighting by words. Until now, with the Chapai in Cambodia, they fight by talking, by singing. Here, we have somebody like this. That means I am listening. And here, you see the fingers? I'm singing, I'm talking. And is like this. So I'm really talking to you. Now you have to listen to me. So we have two teams who are fighting by words, by singing. That's the most ancient just depicted somewhere and unique, maybe in the world. So I made my research not by writing the books, because too many mistakes, from 10 to 60% of mistakes in the books, because in ethnomusicology there is a lot of traps, and sometimes I fall down myself, but I try to not read any books. So I started my research by looking at the bas-relief, the epigraphy, and also the objects. So the objects, only object made by bronze, because in Cambodia, like in Thailand, wood cannot survive. So in the object we have found the bells, we found some small drums until now used in Cambodia, and we will use during the next coronation of your king in a few days. And we call Damaru. You have another name in Cambodia, in Thailand, but this instrument was played, but we have no bas-relief depicting this instrument. We have bells for animals. This one is a bell probably for elephant. We can see here one elephant with 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 bells, and some bells here, like in collars. Some bells in scale 1/1. And this very important, because as you have seen, we have found some bells like this one in the excavation. We have found a lot. But in all the bas-relief, in high relief in Cambodia, we have only this kind of bell, open bell, not closed bell. And this picture comes from the temple from Thailand. That's the only one. That is not another one. It's why for a long time, I'm thinking, is it really elephant bells? Because nobody can prove before. But now we can prove, because this picture. So we have also the collars of horses with two kinds of bells. We have round bells and mango-shaped bells. Unfortunately, I have found one mango bell and also round bell. And I have rebuilt this collar from the 12th century. So nice. So the Post-Angkorian iconography. We will speak very shortly about the 12th century. No, sorry, 16th century. 16th century, there is one king, Angchan the first. He has his capital in Longvec, and he decided to come back in Phnom Penh, in Angkor Wat for a few decades. And the northeast gallery of Angkor Wat was unfinished, and he decided to finish it. So we have two ways to depend on the researcher. Some researchers say, oh, in this gallery in 12th century they design, but they have no time to carve. And the second is they start from nothing. To me, if we let's spoken the iconography, we find in this gallery musical instrument doesn't exist in the 12th century. For example, here, okay, I will put the true instrument, that's more easy. Okay, as I told you, in 12th century there are no gongs. Here we have gongs. Here we have a gong chime, exists until now, but in 12th century there is not. In the 12th century there is no oboe. Oboe maybe come from China. And here we have some flute. This kind of flute we have no depiction in the 12th century. It's why that's impossible. This part of the bas-relief design in the 12th century. That's impossible. So we have here the first instrument of the pipat of Cambodia. After, sure, they extend a lot because here we have only 9 gongs, but that's really the beginning. The beginning could be in the 15th century, but really I cannot prove. And in Angkor Wat we have also one painting. That painting, not easy to see something, but thanks to Photoshop, I love Photoshop, we can do miracles. Okay, so we can see here 2 gongs, a big, a small, 2 drums here. We can see here the gong chime. Here's the first xylophone, the only one in Southeast Asia. The first xylophone is here. The oboe here and the trumpet here. And we have a second painting, but I don't show you because we don't see anything. But I rebuilt also. So here are the instrument. Sorry, just the shape of the xylophone, I am not sure. I took this one on internet, but this one is Burmese, so I don't know. But here, I'm sure, here, all these instruments, I am sure. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. And we have here like a lotus flower. This one could be the first score, on the only score in music. Score, yeah. Why? Because architecture, design, music at this time is the same meaning. The people who built Angkor Wat, they built also with their brain, and they design everything the same. For example, after they built pagodas, Buddhist pagodas, but it's open to the east. There is a direction. And we have one music in Cambodia we call Contra Ming. It's funeral music. And the funeral repertoire don't move too much. And when we study the structure of the music of the funeral of this repertoire, we find exactly this. For example, at the beginning, we play, there is only 1 gong. No, sorry, 2 gongs and 1 drum. We play the gong and the drum at the same time, is this part. And when we arrive here, we beat the second gongs. So the structure is this one. And after we repeat, like here. So one time, 32 times, 32 times, 32 times, 32 times, and we repeat like the flowers here. So I am not sure 100%, but I try to follow this way because we don't know anything about the music at this time. But if we think about the architecture, if we find in music the same architecture like in Angkor Wat, or maybe, oh my God, maybe that's the music they play, the structure of music they play at this time. So I have only six more minutes. I think I am at time. So we have seen the musical instrument from the Hindu and Buddhist people, but at this time, during Angkor time, the Hindu people, they are close to the king, close to the power, but in the far forest, in the far country, remote country, the people, they are animist. And what's the musical instrument? Which are the musical instruments from the animist? They are made by bamboo or by wood, but mostly by bamboo. And the musical instrument are by rattan. Here, very nice rattan. So the musical instrument from the animist living in the forest, this musical instrument we can find in very, very, very large area until the Pacific. Is why we know the large cultural area. We know some instrument in Cambodia we can find in Madagascar. And we know that the instrument in Madagascar come from the Pacific. So they come from the Pacific to Southeast Asia and to Madagascar also. So we can say at this time, during Angkor time, but maybe 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, this instrument already exists. We have no physical instrument, but by thinking about the area, we are sure this instrument exists for a very, very long time. So we have this instrument, the Jewish harp. That's an incredible instrument found everywhere in Asia and in Pacific, and play until now in Cambodia. He's the last maker in Siam Reap. This zither, made by bamboo, until Madagascar, and found in all Pacific and Southeast Asia. The flute, the most ancient instrument we have found in the world, it's 36,000 years ago in Europe. So the flute, this flute existed long time ago, 1,000 years. This instrument we call in English mouth organ. This instrument is depicted on the bronze drums from Dongsun time, so 2,000 to 2,500 years ago. So maybe this instrument exists for 3,000 years ago, we don't know, but almost 2,500 years ago. And there is different kind in China, Southeast Asia. But this instrument typical from Southeast Asia and South China. And you have the Ken, you have some in the stairs here in Siam society. And this musician is the last one in Cambodia to play this instrument. we can see here gongs, but really I don't know if during Angkor time gong exist or not. But the gongs, the gong playing maybe derived from the stone playing. We have found, especially in Vietnam, sets of stones, the same meaning of the gong. So, but we are sure in the 13th century the gong exists, but at this time, really, I don't know. It just, I suppose, it could be at this time the gong in Cambodia. Because the gong we find until the Philippines. So to my rebuilding, I traveled a lot, during 35 years, and to find the instrument, because nothing disappeared really. So we can find as a source, like in South India, or also in Nepal, or the instrument, we went until Madagascar, so we can find the instrument everywhere from the same family. Our flute from the 7th century we have seen at the beginning. Because we have no music written, so we can see here the shank, the big trumpet and the small trumpet, the same meaning than in Angkor Wat. The harp existed until now in Myanmar, because Myanmar was a closed country for a long time. There's a Garuda head. The Karenni people, they play the harp with the bird head. All the harp of the Karenni people, they have a bird head. So the monochord played until now in Cambodia and Thailand. The lute, here a picture from Vietnam, from the Cham and the Karenni people. I think that is in Thailand we have the most kind of lute. I told you at the beginning, the cymbals are the instruments that represent music. If we have only one instrument to choose to represent the music, we choose this one. And here we have workers, they are doing like this with the sticks to build a temple, They want to make the earth very hard. And there is somebody who make a rhythm to everybody can play at the same time with the stick. In Kathmandu Valley, the same we have found in Thailand. There's a Vajra bell. We find it in Bali to the Hindu people. And to the Tibetan also. So to rebuild in 5 minutes, is okay? So to rebuild the instrument, I rebuild the instrument, some instrument not disappeared, but were modernized with plastic or with modern materials, so I back to the traditional materials. And also I make copy of bronze instruments found in the excavation, because sometimes they are broken, so I rebuilt, and sometimes too fragile to be played, so I rebuilt and we can play. So that's true instrument found in excavation, like cymbals. And from this instrument, when it's possible, I make print. I print in earth to make a mold and to create a bronze instrument. So we have not so many times, so I will escape this. And I will show you some instrument I have rebuilt. So at the beginning, we have seen Sounds of Angkor. So what Sounds of Angkor? Sounds of Angkor is my organization. So Sounds of Angkor is a research program. Second is a rebuilt program of musical instrument. Third is a playing program, because I have created a troupe with 25 musicians who are able to play all the instruments I rebuilt. And also is an archaeological program, because some instrument we don't know if we have insects, we have mouses, we have in the real time how the instrument can survive with the climate, with the monsoon, with the heather. So I study everything like this. And also it's a program like today, spoken to have a talk somewhere to publish. So that's, for example, here we can see the bowl of the bell tree. You can listen here the Khmer harp I rebuilt. So I think I will finish here. If you have some questions, so you have here my email address. You can write to me. You have the name of the website Sounds of Angkor, and also Tuk Tuk TV on YouTube. You can find around 200 video about my research, but also about the Khmer culture. Yeah, thank you for your attention.
Are there any questions?
You mentioned a temple in Thailand that had the elephant bells. Which temple in Thailand?
Phnom Rum. Phnom Rung Ba. Yeah.
Okay. And the second one is, there was a series of what you call mango bells.
Yeah.
Were those in India being used at the same time in India? Is that...
In India, I don't know. But we have maybe 2 or 3 samples of this kind of mango bells. Yeah, the one I used was really the biggest one and the most beautiful. Yeah.
Do you have a picture of the harp from Angkor Wat?
Um, ah, Probably, yeah. Oh, but the question is about. Okay, if you have question. No, I have. But you can find on my website. You can find on my website, yes.
Sort of this information known by local Cambodian musician or Cambodian musicologists. Are they really interested in what you're doing?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Sure, but because there is my website, so they can read. And sometimes I give some talk in Cambodia also, but a little limited because I cannot organize by myself. I have no time. But sure, since my arrival, you know, the harp appeared in 2013. I showed for the first time in 2013. So now what happened? So we have a musician in Phnom Penh at the University of Fine Arts. There is a class of harp with exam at the end. And in Siem Reap, I created a school for the instrument, so for the monochord, for the harp, and for the lute. And the harp was played, was integrated in an opera, was played in Paris, Boston, New York, and in Australia also. So, and the harp now is everywhere to welcome the king, to welcome the prime minister on the stage at TV. So really there is a big changing with this instrument because the name of the harp is Pen. And the Cambodian people, the instrument.
I have a picture of a harp from Angkor Wat.
Probably, yeah. Oh, but the question is about. Okay, if you have question. No, I have. But you can find on my website. You can find on my website, yes.
Sort of this information known by local Cambodian musician or Cambodian musicologists. Are they really interested in what you're doing?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Sure, but because there is my website, so they can read. And sometimes I give some talk in Cambodia also, but a little limited because I cannot organize by myself. I have no time. But sure, since my arrival, you know, the harp appeared in 2013. I showed for the first time in 2013. So now what happened? So we have a musician in Phnom Penh at the University of Fine Arts. There is a class of harp with exam at the end. And in Siem Reap, I created a school for the instrument, so for the monochord, for the harp, and for the lute. And the harp was played, was integrated in an opera, was played in Paris, Boston, New York, and in Australia also. So, and the harp now is everywhere to welcome the king, to welcome the prime minister on the stage at TV. So really there is a big changing with this instrument because the name of the harp is Pen. And the Cambodian people, the instrument disappeared, but they never forget the name. Because to them, there is something here they lost. And I give back to them this instrument. Yeah.
And this information also translated into Cambodian language.
Not yet,
access,
because
they can learn.
Yeah, because at the beginning I said passion is energy. We not need money, but to translate in Khmer, We need money. The problem in Cambodia, because there is not so many translators who are able to translate this kind of literature, and the Khmer language is very poor in technical words. So to translate, we have to rewrite first, or to have somebody, I know some, but they are so busy, and to translate really with the good words, that really is not easy. It's possible, but really it takes long time, and to have the best people, they are too busy, because in Cambodia, sorry to tell that, but the level is very low, and the best people, they are very busy in the company or outside of Cambodia. So that's the reality in Cambodia. But thank you for your question. It's one of my concerns. I talked with Minister of Culture about that topic, but at the moment we have no other people who are able to do that, and it spend a lot of time and money also to do, yeah. That's a good question, because we have no repertoire, we have no writing about the music from this time, so we choose like the Maori. So I don't choose by myself, so I let the Minister of Culture to decide what we can play. That's not my responsibility, but they choose like Maori, or I think that's the most ancient repertoire they use, yeah. Yes, they try, but there is a lot of beliefs and some false belief. Some song people, they sing, they come from Angkor because very proud to be a Khmer empire, blah blah blah. But some music only maybe from 16th or 17th century, no more. But that's the reality. Yes.
But once you mentioned to me that you have found a stone instrument, you call it a lithophone, at the Chao Sri Vibol temple. Do you remember that?
Yes,
you mentioned to me.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Have you shown the image? I arrived very late, so maybe you have already shown.
So because no, I don't mention about because this morning I went to the National Museum here in Bangkok, and now they installed 4 lithophones. But these lithophones are I don't say new, but they are maybe from Ayutthaya period, for maybe 13th, 14th century. But the 2 lithophones at the beginning are very old, are really from prehistoric. And I have found recently, 1 year ago, 1 stone around 1 meter and 70. And that stone as a whole, the same here in Thailand, and it was installed in the at the entrance of the temple, and probably we don't know how it was used, but probably like in the Hindu temple now in India, when you enter the temple, you ring the bell to tell the divinity, oh, I'm coming to give you some offering, don't forget to me. Eh? So I think at this time they use the same stone. And the stones are, until now, they used in China and also in Vietnam, in the pagodas we have. But this stone I discovered, that's the only one we have found in Cambodia. This stone was known by the people in this area because there is a small shrine, but nobody knows it was a lithophone. I was the first to write about this stone. Yes, thank you, sir.
Absolutely fascinating. I was talking to Patrick before the lecture and asking, he said that, what we thought were apsaras, they're not actually apsaras because there are 3 different types, right?
Yeah.
So I think you have to come back and do a lecture on the dances for us.
Yeah. With pleasure, with pleasure.
Thank you so much. This is so wonderful. And I want to ask you how you do all these different colors.
Oh, it's a Photoshop.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Photoshop is my second love,
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Ellen. Thank you.
And the book has got your crocodile.
Oh my God, a crocodile. Thank you very much. I am not Khmer, so I can accept. If I am Khmer, I can accept because there is a crocodile inside.
Really?
Really? Sure.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much for what
Thank you very much.